This is a Jmix exclusive.
How did you feel when you heard Hit 'Em Up for the first time?
Oh, shit. When I heard that shit, I was like, damn, this shit is on right here. This is going to be some shit because I know there's going to be repercussions at the same time because I know somebody who gets dissed that hard, if they don't come back, then they're going to look, really bad for the hip-hop, whole world. And I don't even think Biggie, came back as he just did the who shot you type of stuff, but it wasn't even directed, it was like a subliminal hit to Tupac. Same with Lil' Kim when she was talking shit. It wasn't like directly, aiming like Tupac would just say the name and say, "F you, motherfucker," you know what I mean? You can die slow, all that shit, you know what I mean? He was coming hard, and I know cats like Ice-T, they really seen that as a situation. Pac, why you doing it, man? You're going to start something that's just going to be, an ongoing situation and can lead to bloodshed. Because I remember Ice-T was telling me about that. You know what I mean? I didn't think it was going to get to that point where, it was going to be so bad that people was going to die behind it. But how do we know if that's the fact just because these songs was made that's why he died? I don't think that's the situation. I mean, I would think it'd be more of a situation off the one cat that is getting blamed for the murder more than, a Biggie Puppy thing, unless they hired some cats unless they hired the Crips, to do something like that. But, you always hear about different hits on different people and shit like that. But I don't think, I think they was taking it like a Run DMC, Kumo D type of situation. That's how Pac thought too. I mean, he was mad. I mean, he'll fuck with you if he sees you in the street, and if you act like a man, you're gonna be a man right there and then. And if you be cool, you be cool. It's on you, to get down and fight right there, or talk the differences out. Pac always liked talking the differences out. Anyways, he wasn't for violence. You know what I mean? That's why when Treach had the problem in L.A., they worked that shit out. They went straight to the hood and knocked all that shit out. Because that's what Pac was about more was, for nonviolent situations, because that's where he comes from. So,
wait, you're saying that Tupac and Stretch worked their shit out?
No, Tupac and Treach.
Oh.
As far as when Treach was having problems with the 60s and all that, in L.A. with the Crips, when it got into a little quarrel, Tupac hooked up the meeting so that Treach can go over there and talk to him and straighten things out. So there won't be no bloodshed, so motherfuckers can get along and, really be a one love, one thug situation, not, fighting and shooting each other over the shit. So, Pac wasn't for that. But when all the shit started happening to him, that's why when he got out, he was a whole nother person. And, of course, you have your cast that's cheering him on, that's there and be like, hell yeah, f that shit. You know what I mean? Do that shit. And he came and he ripped that song. Do I think that would have changed anything if he didn't do that song? I don't really think it would have changed anything, because the stuff that was going on already was more deeper than, Hit 'Em Up. Hit 'Em Up was more of a situation just to let motherfuckers know what's going on as far as the beef and whatnot. But I think in Pac's mind, he was going to be cool with Biggie at one point because he was cool with him before. It was just to this point to really get that East Coast and West Coast shit, calmed down. That's why he started the Death Row East. That was supposed to be a situation that was supposed to really take place. And, then One Nation was, with Buckshot and everybody, so he was actually trying to make the whole West Coast and East Coast, form as one. When the media was trying to really bring it against the West and the East, in this big war, Tupac just died now, Biggie died now, it's all fucked up. But when Pac was alive, you remember, he was down with Eric B. and Rakim, they was helping him out for the Death Row East. You know what I mean? Buckshot was down. Nice and Smooth was down. You know what I mean? So it was a situation of really mending the West and East Coast together. Pac is originally from the East. He moved down here to California and got his game in the Bay Area, man. I give props to the Bay Area because Bay Area, man, they got their own style, their own, way of talking. And then you move to L.A. and you get that, that gang banging situation, all the gangster shit mixed with the player Mac shit. You know what I mean? So that's what Pac absorbed, and that's what Pac really put down in his lyrics, man, because you can hear a little bit of everybody in Tupac. You can hear a little bit of the governor from Oakland. You can hear a little bit from Rappin' Forte, who's one of his favorite rappers. You can hear like the Cube in him too. You can hear the Public Enemy, Chuck D. He got political, then he got street, then he got serious to tell people, that life goes on. I ain't mad at you. Heaven ain't hard to find. Feel good songs, party songs.
That's deep. Dude, nobody's ever put that to me that way. That's so true because you do hear a little bit of Chuck D in him. You can hear a little the music. I've been told by people. Obviously, I didn't know Tupac, that he would listen to all the top 40 songs, pop songs. It didn't matter, and he would absorb a little bit of everything, and he would kind of put it in a gumbo, and that's what you would hear come out of his mouth is all the stuff that he absorbed, and that's why he was so popular because he knew how to reach people. And the way you said that kind of put a light bulb in my head, and I've never had it explained to me like that, and I think that's huge. That's deep. That's a great soundbite.
You know what, Jmix? That's what I knew just being around him, what he was expressing. You know what I mean? And he went there, but what he took to the next level, what people don't understand is he touched your heart. And he even told me, he said, man, this song right here, this Dear Mama, this is going to make everybody cry. And I said, you know what? I'm crying already. You know what I mean? Because I thought, man, my favorite part is putting money in your mailbox. You know what I mean? I mean, putting money, a check or something in your mailbox, getting paid. And it was just so felt because if you knew Tupac, he was in line with what he was talking about. His mom, all the stuff that he went through with his mom, that was all real. That wasn't nothing scripted. So when you heard his lyrics, they came from the heart. And he was able to do songs like that, then turn it around and do Let Me See You Toss It Up to, Ambitions of a Rider to, the incredible songs like Temptations. Big shout out to Mo Beef. With so many different concepts, all the way to, Ain't Nothing Like the Old School. He brought all those, feelings. He brought those alive when you heard it. When you heard them songs, you felt like you were part of them songs. That's why a lot of people say, man, I feel like I knew Tupac, man. I feel like, I know this dude because they feel his music from his heart because that's how they felt. Pac has a song for everybody, man, for everybody. And, Shed So Many Tears is so deep, too. I mean, we can go on and on, right, Jmix, about all the songs. I never had a friend like me.
Yeah, you're right.
It's just like a nonstop party. I could put on Pac right now, and I'll probably stay up till like 4 or 5 in the morning just bumping that shit just because it is good music and it's feel good music. Then he'll hit every angle in life. You know what I mean? So did I know that working with him as far as the different concepts and how deep it was? I knew it was deep, but I didn't know how deep it was until after the Death Row stuff because it started getting scary. It started getting scary at that point because I knew it wasn't no joke at that point because the shit was serious. You know what I mean? And I thought Pac would never die because every time he got shot, he got back up like it was nothing. He was a soldier. Everybody thought that. Pac got shot. Oh, okay, yeah, he'll be out next week. Probably get shot the next week after that again. Pac had like about 199 lives and shit. You know what I mean? So we thought Pac was going to get out of that. We didn't know he was going to die, man. I talked with MC Hammer. Hammer was there that night when he got shot and went to see him. And that's a whole other story that Hammer has, too. I can't tell Hammer's story, but I know Hammer's story because Hammer's one of my best friends. So, he has a story to tell on the Machiavelli movie. So you can see what I'm saying, Jmix, how deep this movie is. It's not just a situation where we're just talking about the cliche type of shit what happened. You know what I mean? As far as, oh, yeah, he, was shooting at police. Police were shooting at him. We ain't going to talk about all that shit. Everybody knows that shit. Right? We're going to talk about shit that you ain't never heard before. We're going to talk about shit that Tupac, he wasn't dressing like a thug. He was dressing in nice clothes. And every once in a while, he dressed like us in the Dickies and the Dickies and the Ben Davis and shit like that. You know what I mean? But Pac, he had style. I would look at the way he was dressed up and say, damn, Pac, where'd you get that, from France or Paris or something? Pac had a Lexus before I even knew what a Lexus was. I didn't even know what kind of car he was in. I didn't even think it was like a top-notch high brand. He had a gold Lexus. Like, this shit is pretty dope. You know what I mean? But I didn't think it was one of them high-priced cars because it looks like a Camry. All them Lexus look like Toyota Camrys because I think they're made by Toyota. So, he was before his time, I should say. I mean, come on, he had a Lexus when nobody knew what a fucking Lexus was.
He's the first rapper I ever saw wear a three-piece suit.
Yes. He's the first rapper that I was around that I ever seen that had shiny nails. I told him, I said, man, what part? You get your nails done or something over there? And he just smiled because I think when he did Poetic Justice and all that, about cleaning your nails, but his nails were always like top notch. I'm talking like shining, like they had gloss on them. I told him about that. I was like, damn, Pac, you got some shiny nails, boy. Because the ladies, they love that shit. So, he was doing what the ladies love, and he was, getting his Mac on, you know what I mean? But that's one thing that a lot of people don't know about Tupac. Mo Preem knows that. I know that. Big Psych knows that, But nobody talks about that shit. I'm going to talk about the shit like that, people forgot to talk about. I'm not going to bring up no negative type of shit in the movie. If there's any kind of negative parts, it might just be the situation when he left us, man. You know what I mean? And how people feel about that. But it's mostly talk about the things that he wanted to do, what he had planned, how he did the things, how he was so devoted in the studio. Because he was in the studio every day. He wasn't out there partying. He lived in the studio every day.
Well, I think to be honest with you, I think that's a good place to end it. It gives an excitement for the movie. To be honest with you, dude, I'm excited for it. What you're doing right now, that type of movie where you're not focusing on his death, you're not focusing on the stories that have been in every magazine 20 times, but focusing on those little details and stories that people don't know. And just showing his life, because I think there's been way too much focus on who killed him and way too much focus on the bullshit that I've said for years. All I think us fans really want to see is just a movie about the life of Tupac, not what in the newspaper clippings of Tupac, the actual who he was as a person. So I guess the last question, dude, I got for you is, all these years later, with all the documentaries and all the movies that are out, what do you think is the biggest misconception that people have about Tupac? What do you think that they get wrong?
That he was a bad person, an evil type of person that just didn't give a fuck about anybody because he gave a fuck about everybody. That's Tupac, man. He loved everyone. He loved every race. That's what people don't understand. When you hear his music, you hear hit him up and all that stuff. You can hear the anger and everything. But he wasn't the type of person to go start shit. He wasn't throwing up he wasn't like a gangbanger throwing up signs and starting shit just because he wanted to start shit. He wasn't a bully. He was a smart individual, and he had a plan. You know what I mean? And he would do his plan. He would execute it, and he would talk about it, then he'd do it the next day. That was Tupac. He wasn't the type of person to talk about something and not do it. He did it. And that's what I want people. Yeah, that's what I want people to know out there, Jmix. I want them to know that he was a dear friend of mine, but at the same time, he was so caring, man. He was so caring. Like I said, man, he looked out for me plenty of times, and he didn't have to do that. You know what I mean? And I looked out for him, too. But when I looked out for him, this is the type of dude he was. I go, Pac, I'm going to the store, man. I'm going to go grab some cigarettes. You want a pack? He go, yeah. He said, hold on, come here. And then after, he give me his $3 or whatever it is for a cigarette. And I think it was like $2 something or something at that point. Now what, they're like $10 or something shit. But you know, and then I come back, you know, and give him a cigarette, and this is the type of dude he was. He'd open the pack right there in front of me, in the plastic part, and like pull out like 4 of them and give them to me all the time. Never failed. All the time he would do that. You know what I mean? So that's the type of dude Tupac was, and I know a lot of people that do smoke out there and smoke cigarettes or whatnot. That means a lot. That's how Tupac was. When he says, you ain't never had a friend like me, believe that. You ain't never had a friend like me. Believe that. Because that's the type of dude he was. And I ain't never had a friend like that to this day, like Tupac.
Yeah.